Marlow Ridge, Oregon, was the kind of town that most people drove through without ever noticing. Tucked between dense pine forests and a winding two-lane highway, its biggest claims to fame were a crumbling diner, a fishing pond, and a faded welcome sign that hadn't been updated since 1992. But in the spring of 2010, the sleepy town became the center of a haunting mystery that would baffle law enforcement for over a decade. The Cartwright family had lived in Marlow Ridge for 6 years. Jacob, a hard-working foreman at a local lumber mill, was known for his quiet strength and punctual nature. Amanda, his wife, volunteered at the elementary school and hosted church bake sales. Their children, Emily, 9, and Noah, 6, were loved by their teachers and had never missed a day of school. On April 3, 2010, the Cartwrights attended a Sunday morning church service. They smiled, chatted with neighbors, and drove off in their silver Dodge minivan. Surveillance footage from a gas station a mile from their house showed them refueling and buying snacks. Jacob nodded to the cashier, Amanda held Emily's hand, and Noah clutched a red teddy bear. Everything about the footage seemed normal. But by Monday morning, alarm bells started to ring. Jacob didn't show up for work. The kids didn't arrive at school. Amanda didn't respond to calls. A neighbor, concerned after seeing the Cartwright mailbox overflow with letters, contacted the police. Officers found the Cartwright home locked from the inside. The porch light was still on. A bowl of fruit sat undisturbed on the kitchen counter. The family's dog, Max, was barking frantically in the backyard without food or water. Inside, everything looked untouched. Too untouched. Amanda's purse sat on the table. Jacob's work boots were still by the door. The children's backpacks leaned against the wall. There was no sign of a struggle, no broken windows, no sign of forced entry. Then came the most chilling discovery. Every cell phone belonging to the family had been left behind, powered off. Their minivan, however, was missing. Search efforts began immediately. Helicopters scanned the forest, and police combed through wooded trails. Volunteers passed out flyers. Drones were deployed. Nearby lakes were dredged. Roadblocks were established. But nothing. No sightings, no trace, no clues. Within weeks, national media caught wind of the disappearance. The story of the perfect American family vanishing without a trace struck a nerve. Forensic experts, private investigators, and even psychics offered their services. Theories emerged: an abduction, a cult, a planned escape, a murder-suicide. But every lead brought investigators back to the same cold trail. By 2013, the Cartwright disappearance was labeled a cold case. The town slowly moved on. The church added a plaque in the family's honor. The school planted a tree. But the mystery remained an open wound, especially for Amanda's sister Rachel, who never stopped searching. Every year, Rachel returned to Marlow Ridge to retrace her sister's final steps. She printed posters, hired new private eyes, and even spoke on podcasts. But by 2020, she admitted that hope was fading. She said in an interview, "Sometimes you wonder if the forest itself swallowed them." Then in July 2025, everything changed. Two hikers exploring an overgrown trail 6 miles from the original search zone discovered something strange. The twisted, moss-covered remains of a silver minivan. Branches had grown through its windows. A thick layer of mud and leaves blanketed the roof. The license plate read 9JZ84K. It was the Cartwright van. Police secured the scene. Inside the van were scattered belongings: a child's sneaker, Amanda's wallet, and a decomposed red teddy bear. There were no human remains, no blood, no obvious signs of violence. But what caught everyone's attention was the object taped to the back of the front passenger seat. A faded Polaroid photo. 4 figures stood in a forest clearing. Their faces were blurred. Each wore identical gray clothing. All 4 were blindfolded. Behind them, a tall figure, cloaked in black. No timestamp, no location, just a message on the back written in smeared red ink. They never left. You just stopped looking. The van was towed and the evidence was rushed to the state crime lab. Forensic experts worked around the clock. The children's DNA was confirmed on the teddy bear. Hair dogs matched Max, the family's German shepherd. A broken cell phone was recovered from under the passenger seat. Technicians attempted to retrieve data, and while most of it was corrupted, one unsent message draft was partially recovered. It said, "He watches from the trees. He waits for dark. He said, 'We're not going home.'" The tone of the message chilled investigators. It hinted at captivity, not escape. As news broke, the nation became obsessed all over again. The forest watcher theory took hold. Online forums dissected every detail of the photo. Who was the cloaked figure? Why blindfolds? Why that message? Then came another twist. An anonymous package arrived at the Marlow Ridge police station. No return address. Inside was a USB flash drive and a note written for Rachel. Police accessed the drive in a secure environment. It contained 5 audio recordings, all distorted with static. One featured a young boy sobbing and repeating, "I want to go home, Mommy." Another included forest sounds, wind, branches snapping, footsteps, followed by silence. The final file was the longest, 47 minutes of what sounded like a man talking to someone. The voice was calm, emotionless, speaking in a rhythm like a sermon. The forest is patient. The forest is truth. They are mine now. They will forget the world. Investigators enhanced the audio. The voice did not match Jacob Cartwright. Voice recognition software found no match in federal databases. Rachel listened to the audio and broke down. She said, "That was Emily. In the background, I know her voice. She was whispering. She said, 'We're still here.'" A new task force was formed. Over the next few weeks, police returned to the forest, now dubbed Dead Hollow by online sleuths. New trails were mapped, cadaver dogs searched ravines, heat sensors were used at night. Locals reported strange activity, flickering lights, distant chanting, and once, a scream in the distance, but nothing conclusive. Then, another envelope arrived. This time, it was sent to a local news station. Inside, another Polaroid. Only 3 figures now. One child was missing. Written on the back, he needed a guide. Was one of the children taken deeper into the forest? Or worse? Questions spiraled. Panic gripped the town. Curfews were enforced. Rumors spread of a cult living off-grid. But the truth still hidden. And then, silence. For months, no new clues, no new photos, no sightings, just an empty forest and a van slowly being overtaken by moss. But Rachel, relentless as ever, released a final plea to the media. "If you're watching, Emily, Noah, hold on, we're coming." Late that night, she received a voicemail from a blocked number. 7 seconds of breathing, Then a young girl's voice. Auntie Rachel, he hears everything. Click.